And the one thing that always comes to mind is the game is the game, always. In my mind, I think of that as things evolve. I guess the game that we're playing is like, do you really enjoy your life type of thing? It never really changes, right? The circumstances change, things change, technology changes, but there's always going to be people selling, people buying. The game is the game always. Like that will always be a thing.
You're listening to Ecomonics, a Debutify podcast, your resource for one-of-a-kind insights into the world of e-commerce and business in the modern age. This is Joseph. I'll be presenting a wealth of industry knowledge from interviews with successful business people and our own state-of-the-art research. Your time is valuable, so let's go. Ricardo Hinds, it is good to have you here on Ecomonics. How are you doing today? How are you feeling?
Doing pretty good. Feeling good. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Now, I once in a while I'm distracted by something in the background, so I'm just going to try to get through this real quick. But I can't tell what that is behind you. It's like a golden mural.
It's actually like it's a painting of flowers, and it's like a boss down here, and then the flowers are they kind of pop out, like they're kind of like embezzled a little bit, like thick paint.
It's like a relief, like it's because it sticks out a bit. Okay.
Yeah, so it kind of looks like, but it looks kind of gold when you look at it. When I look at it through the screen, like it looks like it's like a gold. Like I don't know what, but yeah, that's what it is.
Okay, and at the bottom there's I think that's like the abdomen of a bee. So that bee must be having like a really good time right now.
Yeah, basically.
Okay. All right. I know it's not exactly e-commerce related, but if I don't talk about it, it's just going to be distracting me the whole episode. So I just had to rip that bandage right off. So Ricardo, I'm looking forward to having a conversation with you today about what you do and what you represent. I think there's a very important job that you guys are up to. So let's get this started. Tell us what you do and what you're up to these days.
Yeah. So best way to describe this would be I run a few companies inside of a portfolio company, which is Source of Capital. We have a Shopify portfolio, so it's kind of a suite of apps. Kind of one of the main ones we want to kind of talk about today would be backinstock. It's probably one of our bigger ones. And they do various things. We service our Shopify customers in helping in very specific ways. Like backinstock basically helps you convert your more sales, right? So you can think anytime you run out of inventory and you kind of have to. There are people waiting for something, right? Like there's something that I've been trying to get for forever. It's a PlayStation 5 and no one can get that, and you kind of sign up for an alert. I don't think so many people think about the process of, well, what happens after someone signs up to get notified. Like you'd have to go out and manually notify all of them, and then so that the app kind of manages all that for you. You can kind of set your delivery policy where make sure you're targeting the right customers and different things like that. I won't get too much into the settings and all that, but it basically manages that whole process of when you restock. We're going to send out these alerts so you can get those sales and not miss them because you didn't have any way to reach out to those customers.
Right. It's funny you mentioning waiting for the PlayStation 5 because I think some people are so adamant about that they start following the supplementary news. Like as soon as they see that the chip shortage is finally resolved, and they go, well, the chip shortage is resolved. That means that it's going to be going to the manufacturing. That means I got to replace the PS5. So people are just like, and I think that there is some element of truth to that where if somebody is waiting for a product, they have a problem in need of solving. Now, there's only so many game consoles, but I could see a reality where if somebody eventually gives up on one system, decides, you know what, I'm just going to get an Xbox Series X, or they might even get a Switch or upgrade their PC. So there is a potential to lose some of your customer base, even some particularly loyal customers too. So that to me sounds like really like the key problem that is that underlies what the solution here is. What I want to know, I always want to know like what's kind of like the backstory to this. Like what was the impetus for this software to get started? Were they working on something and they realized they needed to solve this problem on their own? Because that has come up a lot with a lot of the SaaS companies that I talked to.
Yeah, so we bought this company from a founder a couple of years ago, and I think for them it was a matter of just identifying the problem, and it was a pretty obvious one in Shopify. There's a few apps that kind of do the same thing. So since kind of taking the app over, it's kind of been optimizing the delivery of the making sure that the notifications are getting out successfully, right? That you want to make sure that I think there's a lot of things, a lot of components that go into making sure that people are actually getting what you're sending them, right, through email or SMS and all that. So, but yeah, that's essentially the impetus for this is just identifying that very, very obvious problem in Shopify, which is I think there's a few of them in there where, you know, being out of stock and having to go in and alert like 1,000 people or 2,000 people, especially if you're a bigger store, or like if you happen to be blessed to get like, 500,000 people like giving you notifications that things are out of stock, you're not going to be able to do that by yourself. It's just impossible. So a very obvious problem. Same thing with like abandoned carts, right? Like if it's not something that we do yet, but it's, the abandoned cart notification is one of those easy wins that you can get. And I think it's a very obvious problem across Shopify, so much so that they have a category for it. So
yeah, it's interesting to see the parallel of niches within the apps and how what sellers become customers in that space versus the niche, and then the niche within the niche and the sub niche within that niche on the consumer side as well. So everybody at some point is a customer, whether they're a customer of the business that they're selling. So that's there's a fascinating parallel there. Okay, so I think okay. So just so you know, I did come into this mostly expected to talk about this, but we can branch off because I would like to hear about some of the other companies that you're working on as well, and yes, more of like the big picture. So we'll get to that. But cool. I think one of the things that is sticking out in a lot of people's minds with the back in stock service is, are there other email services, say like, Klaviyo or MailChimp that are doing this? Maybe because they didn't focus on it, they aren't doing it as effectively. Is there a relationship where I can actually have multiple of these email services and they're all integrating with each other? What's the relationship with back in stock and other email systems like Klaviyo that people might and often are using?
Yeah, so I think I think if you're like a bigger email service provider, like a direct to market, like Klaviyo, there's like you mentioned, niches, right? Starting off in a niche allows you to be super targeted on that one very specific thing, and you kind of make it very easy for people to set up, right? When you can do a lot of different things, it's harder to set up. Like you have to kind of do a bit of upfront configuration. I think for us, it's allowing people to just kind of like download and like almost one-click install setup, and you're almost off to the races, and it just like works out of the box, because we're not that complicated in terms of what we offer you. Like we offer you back in stock notifications, and that's pretty much it. And so the things that we don't offer in terms of you're collecting this large group of people or potential customers that are opting in to getting some kind of notification from you, and maybe they opt in to get additional marketing. For those customers, you can connect to MailChimp, you can connect to Klaviyo, you can connect to one of our various integrations, and then send other type of email marketing campaigns, which we don't typically do. Right, we're not a general email marketing campaign. We're doing this one very specific thing, but you're already in contact with these people, so you can use our integration to just send those customers through to whatever other email platform you have.
Yeah, I again, I'm coming back to this parallel that's really manifesting in having this conversation with you is the specificity of a program like what you're offering, as well as the specificity of somebody running the store. Sometimes this is dropshipping country, so there is a different relationship there between, like, say, somebody who is manufacturing their product themselves, or they have their own warehouse. So there's a different relationship between acquiring product, say, if I have multiple agents, for instance, versus if I have my one warehouse and I know exactly how many products that I'm making. So there's different specificity there in those needs, and I think it speaks to this sense of overwhelmingness, where if somebody were to install like a lot of those main key apps that we hear about the most often, what ends up happening is I become overwhelmed by all of the options available, and I think, geez, I don't even know how to do all of this, and if I don't know how to do this, then maybe I'm not cut out for this.
Yeah, and it's interesting because you think about how simple it is to kind of set up Shopify. Like, I mean, I guess if you're used to it, it's simple, but I would say it's easier to set up than like starting your own, rolling it on your own, right? Like you just, for the most part, it's like few labels, few settings, and you're off of the races. And that, I think it's easy. It's better when you have like a product that kind of supports that. When I say product, I mean an app that follows that convention, where it's like make it as simple as possible, because typically that your customer, if you're using Shopify, and you're not as sophisticated in like rolling your own like e-commerce platform or store, you haven't like built your own website or something like that. If you're using Shopify, then you want something simple. That's why you chose Shopify in the first place. And so, yeah, the hurdles. I mean, I've gone through it myself, like choosing a new software and like looking at all the options, like, oh, it can do anything, and then like I don't want to do anything in it because I can't figure out how to start, and getting people past that like anxiety of like this new thing, that's supposed to be helping me and I don't know how to do it. Yeah, to your point, man, it's yeah, you want to build confidence.
This is I don't know. I feel like this could end up being like a really obvious question, but I'm just going to do it anyways. Is typically when should sellers consider adding back-in-stock notifications to their communication channel? Do you recommend this as the kind of thing to get it going right away, or is it maybe that they should maybe wait until they actually are having stock issues where their demand is starting to exceed their supply?
Yeah, it's kind of a tricky one, right? Like I wouldn't say like if you're a startup store, you don't have any business. Obviously, this doesn't make sense for you, right?
Yeah.
But if you start, it's a nice thing that's set up right away. Only for the fact that if you already anticipating sales, or if you're getting sales, it's better to have it set up now instead of like starting to lose sales and then realize that, hey, I just lost like $10,000 worth of sales because I haven't been reaching out to these people and like when I restock, and like not even thinking about that system to begin with, when you launch your store. So I would say set it up at the beginning. But yeah, we do offer like a free plan. So if you're not getting a lot of business, you're not sending a lot of notifications, hang out on the free plan until something picks up, and then you can kind of move along as your business grows.
So I might be blind because I was looking at it and I did look at the plans and I didn't spot the free one. So what do I get out of the free one? Because I mean I'm a Shopify seller myself. I've got my own store, and the beauty of this, by the way, is that all of these people are basically coming to me and selling me on their services. So I'm like, yes, bring it. So what do I get out of the free plan?
Yeah, the free plan you get 10 notifications a month, right? So that's like you're super small, and you may not even have any inventory problems, right? So that's you're probably going to notify one person a month. Like that's kind of perfect for someone who like, I'm getting business and I still don't want to think about this if the problem ever occurs. So that's what the free plan is kind of there for.
Right. Yeah. Just like set up those early stage automations, like, hey mom, it's you can order it now just to test it out. So and it's also important too to bear in mind the ratio of how many people would need to be notified versus how many people had purchased it initially. So like the 10 notifications at right away, that can sound prohibitive, but immediately think, well, that's 10 notifications past how many people have actually made purchase, as also the ease of which I can acquire products. So again, this being dropshipping country, we do have the luxury of being able to reach out to different suppliers. In many cases, are selling the same product anyway, so there is some there's some additional flexibility there, but it is good, and that's one of the things that I was always like afraid of getting into e-commerce, and it's been a continual relief, is finding this massive paywall that's not necessarily the fault of any one particular program, but all of these apps, which are all important to having as many advantages as I can early on, and all of them having to have $10 here, $20 there, $15 there, and next thing I know, it's about $200 a month, $300 a month, and I still haven't actually sold anything yet.
Yeah, that's you bring up a good point, right? It's if you don't, you'd have to sell out your entire inventory in a particular product or variant to actually get to sending a notification. So if you're well stocked, it's it's not really a problem. It's less of a problem today, especially if you're smaller. And you're not getting a high rate of sales. Like you can always kind of have some inventory, or like you just drop ship it then. But yeah, people you still kind of run into it especially if you're higher volume sales.
Okay. So the way I wrote this is, what are the kind of results that Shopify merchants can expect? And I mean, that's a broad reaching question. Obviously merchants, each one has different expectations. So what I would like to say more is about let's say that more about the process. So I we'll just go with let's just say I'm selling clothing, for instance, and my clothing ranges come back in. I notify customers, and are they making their purchase right away when they get the email? Is they're still coming back to the funnel? What's the process once the notifications are being sent?
Yeah. So right now, when you send a notification out via SMS or email, there's a link that goes in that message, and it sends them right back to that product page with your variant. Um, we're kind of making a considering an upgrade to send them to that page with the item in cart, just to kind of send them one step along. But yeah, that's where they'll end up. Right, they'll end up right back to where they can make a purchase. We don't really we think it's kind of best for it's what you want, right? You want them to convert and get that sale, especially if they're waiting for it. As far as expectations from the store, what we've kind of seen is if you can restock within 7 days, like you've got almost like a 50-50 shot of like getting that sale, right? And it's kind of like a crazy high conversion rate. But no, I can just think about it myself in terms of you know if a PS5 becomes available today, like I signed up for that because I'm super passionate about it, right? It's not like someone browsing and just, oh, like this is an interesting product and I just want to be notified. It's like I really want this so much so that I want you to bother me and tell me when it's when it's back. So, but once you get past that 7 days, it kind of drops off. Like each day, like if you don't restock for like 14 days, and it's like it's significantly lower than like getting it back in like those first 7 days.
Right. Okay. Well, I'm a massive nerd myself. Like I'm a huge gamer, but I've always been a Nintendo kid.
Yep.
So for me, if Switches aren't in stock, there's not really much else that I'm really going to do. I'm too loyal, and I also know what it is that I'm buying the system for because of a game exclusive. So like in your position, what is about the PS5 that you're looking forward to playing?
I think well, right now it's the only thing that has like the only thing that has exclusive games. Like Xbox came out, but it didn't come out with really exclusive. They didn't drop Halo with it, so it's kind of like it's like you're really playing upgraded version and upgraded playing on an upgraded system with the same Xbox regular Xbox games. The PlayStation has like dedicated games that were kind of like made for the PS5. So I think for me, like I wanted to start there, and then like when Halo comes out, I'll get an Xbox later and go that route. So yeah, that's
Okay, yeah, I just had to get my gamer question in. It's been a while since I've had game chat. Last time we had like a game streamer on, and obviously that just went all game related. So all
I
right,
can talk about that all day, man. But
yeah, it's all good. All right, so here's a specific scenario I got for you. I'm wondering about. So I think something like this might have come up, and so I'm thinking that there's an ideal way to handle this. So let's say I have a low volume product. I'm putting myself in the position of somebody who's doing a lot of their own manufacturing, or just sourcing a limited supply of product. Let's just say like 1,000 of them. Um, how can I use this to my advantage in notifications? If I send a notification out and I say like, supplies are limited, act now. I'm thinking that would actually have a heightened degree of effect on our customers who are waiting. They realize, well, 1,000. I'm only one person, but there could be 10,000. There could be 1,001 people. I don't want to be the 1,001st person. So like, um, how can we use our limited stock and use the situation in the first place, which is a problem, and we want to turn it into a solution to our advantage.
yeah, this is one of those like marketing hacks, right? Where you can kind of spoof demand. So yeah, just setting your inventory low to begin with, and kind of like letting it purposely letting something go out of stock, right? Like I mentioned, like if you get those people that sign up really want something, especially the appeal of something being in high demand. It gets me all the time when there's like one or two left of something. Yeah, letting something go out of stock on purpose, and then like immediately restocking when you get the get a certain number of like customer signups, so those are pretty much good sales. That's a really good strategy, like spoof demand. So I think that's one of the ways that I would use it to drive more demand to a product that's probably low traffic. If you can get the eyeballs on that initial, hey, this is going fast, like
Yeah,
sign
yeah.
up now.
Yeah, I mean, I think every business on the planet engages in at least some small element of mischief, which is my way of saying, light side, but still kind of devious. And I think there are sincere ways to deal with this. One of them is, again, let's just say I'm fulfilling things myself. There's a whole process there, so I might say, I need a week off. These boxes, they're actually kind of hard to they run on the hands. I cut my hands too often. Whatever the case is, somebody might actually just not be stocking things for their own reasons rather than reasons that are out of their control. So, being in control of my own peaks and valleys, I would rather have that than have a situation where the valley comes at a time where I didn't really want it to happen. So I can see people different logic as to reasons why people might send things out of stock for a bit. At the end of the day, these things are run by people.
That's a really good point. Yeah, that's a really good point. Especially if you're a solo entrepreneur that's like just doing this on your own and life just comes up. So,
all right. So part of this that I think is fascinating is the psychology of this, which we've touched on here and there. So I'm thinking there's customers who they like the product and they're interested in getting it and it's out of stock, and so it gets filed away into the back of their mind and they don't think about it too often. Versus someone who's eagerly waiting for it. Now, the reason why they're eagerly waiting for it, and by the way, the PS5 is not part of this analogy because, again, there's 3 consoles and PCs, so it's a whole different industry. But they're eagerly waiting for it, and it's not just that they're waiting for the product so much; it's that they're waiting for the solution to their problem. So I think the more passionate somebody might be about solving the problem, the more likely they might actually end up finding the product elsewhere. If that brand loyalty hasn't been secured. So have you spotted a different psychological traits in the consumer behavior if cold leads, people who they start a warm, they got cold, if they might actually end up being better people to target rather than somebody who's warm but is not necessarily focused on my brand, they're just focused on getting the damn thing?
Yeah, it's a good question. I don't.
I work hard on them.
Yeah, in terms of your brand loyalty customers are probably are a really good bet. Unfortunately, we don't get we don't capture any of your customer data in terms of like figuring out repeat customers and things like that, which would be really nice to see to get that type of view, right? If someone's like a new customer to you, or if they're like someone that's been previously shopped and the brand loyal to you. Yeah, so we can't really split that out in terms of psychology, but I can just imagine that it'll be a better bet if you have, especially going to say if you have some kind of if you have a way of like tracking your customers, or you have a customer loyalty program or something like that, where people are coming back, or if you have a products that are consumables, typically generate a little more brand loyalty that way. That getting those people to sign up for Restock Alerts are going to be better. Or going to be a better bet in like getting that return versus people that are probably going to churn if. I guess in my mind, honestly, I'm kind of like I'm thinking through like certain solutions, and like I'm not a person that's as brand loyal, honestly. Like when it comes to certain things, like fashion, for instance, like clothes. I'm when I come across something that catches my eye, it's just one of those like I want this one for the very specific reasons. And there's
like I'm not brand loyal to clothing because I haven't bought a new pair of clothing in 6 years. It's like I just
right. But it's like when something catches your eye, it's like. It may be, I don't know, it may be something that's very different about the one particular pair of shoes that I was buying like white leather sneakers the other day, and I was like, one had like a brown leather on the back, and it was like I didn't really care what the brand was. It was like that one thing was the thing I wanted, and it was out of stock. And I just kind of like, I guess I have to wait now for this to like be restocked. So, I don't know. I don't know how to answer that one. I don't have the data to actually really answer that question, but I would imagine that depending on the type of product you're selling, I'd say your brand loyal customers will definitely be a better conversion rate.
All good. And at the end of the day, as a start, just to get the question out into the ether, even for the audience's sake, to listen to me, be like, oh yeah, how would I resolve that? One thing you reminded me of is how tricky it can be to be loyal to certain things. So I'll give you 2 examples. One of them is is I plug them so much and they don't sponsor me, but it's Mantis Sleep. I've been using their sleep mask for the last year and a half, and I bought other ones as gifts. Now I'm loyal to that brand because it takes no effort whatsoever to be loyal to it. I'm not going to get another sleep mask. They send value in the email, so there's a wealth of content to read on their behalf. So they got me. Like, I don't think I'm going to tattoo them to my body. There's a there's a list there of things I'm going to tattoo to my body, but I would say that yes, I'm loyal to them. In the event that I get another sleep mask, it will very likely be them. Okay, so then another example, and because you were mentioning consumables, and I think consumables are an interesting issue because I think, I mean, this is dependent on the consumable, but I think generally committing to them is committing to an alteration of lifestyle. So, for instance, Brickhouse Nutrition, I used their product for a couple of months called Field of Greens. It's like a vegetable fruit mix in the water. It tastes good, and just drink it fast before it goes to the bottom of the glass. And even though I have the means and the income to continue supporting them, I'm not committed to the lifestyle that they're selling. And it's not just about that. The idea of having to buy that product month after month after month to kind of like maintain the lifestyle that makes me fully use the brand in the first place, that actually makes it very difficult to be committed and to be loyal to them.
Yeah, I think about consumables and like the switching cost is so much higher in my mind because let's say for taste, for quality, it just kind of becomes a part of you because you're going to be using it all the time, and you just want something that like works, tastes good, or is does what it's supposed to do, right? I mean, I'm really big on like it's like I would call it like physique building. So like finding a protein powder that works, right? Like does what it's supposed to do, but also like tastes good. Like I take collagen protein, and it's one of those things where to find something that like mixes right and all that is hard. So when you find one, you just kind of stick with it. And I think when it comes to like food, the more consistent something can be, it becomes like well, it tastes good, I'm going to keep on doing it, or like some kind of consumable, like even if it's toilet paper, it's like something about the texture is just right. I'm going to like stick with this. It doesn't like have all these negatives. So yeah, I think the switching costs for consumables are just so much higher that I don't know if it's loyalty or just like fear of like changing, like you said, your lifestyle.
Well, yeah, I think it's largely about habits too, because it's scientifically proven that if somebody buys a bidet as opposed to using toilet paper, they stop being a primitive monkey and they actually become a space age, and they're ready to get it to blast up into space. Like, it's the solution there is I've yet to really figure out what's the downside to it. I mean, you still need toilet paper, but like, it covers a lot of the work, and yet people won't do it because that the habit is so firmly ingrained in people's minds. So one thing that I would think about, and one thing I would recommend everybody take away from this is like, think about all the things that we do consume and ask ourselves, what can we actually get that cuts that problem in half and becomes something more like a consistent product? Like, for instance, if somebody like myself is constantly using sleep pills and sleep sprays, could a sleep mask, for instance, solve that problem? It's a one-time buy and it solves the problem night after night after night.
Right. That's a really good point. That's yeah. It'd have to be so much. I feel like the benefit has to be so much more to break that habit. In a bidet, I feel like it's very obvious, right? Won't talk about why, but I feel like it's so obvious as to why like you would make the switch from a benefit standpoint that it's just like you probably need one of these, and you're like not getting one is like to your detriment almost.
Yeah, like it's crazy, and it's about habit, and I think it is also about social pressure too, because I think a lot of people would actually be pretty embarrassed to get one of them, even if it's hands down a significant improvement over the alternative. So it's just some things that felt in my mind, but I think there's a lot of interesting takeaways there. So getting back on track here. What a couple of the things that I know you guys wanted to make sure that we covered in regards to your product here is some of the best practices for back in stock alert emails. What are some of the routines, some of the the automations? What are some of the things you generally recommend that sellers do when they're notifying their customers?
Yeah, I think we touched on some of it, right?
Sure.
I think it's the making sure you can get restock in a reasonable time. I think that hires your conversion rate, increases your conversion rate significantly. Um, Setting your device policy, your delivery policy, once you download the app, and you're kind of looking at making sure your delivery policy fits your business. And if you have confusion about that, our support team can help with that. You have like multiple locations where you're restocking from, making sure you get that set up so you're getting your alerts kind of set out right, and then just really maximizing that like total email marketing campaign flow with integrations. So I mean, again, we only do one part of this, right? And it's like you're building a relationship with customers, and this is a great time for them to tell you that they're interested in what you're offering, and sign up for more, possibly sign up to be notified about additional content. Take advantage of that, right? Like use Mailchimp or whatever your other email marketing platform is going to be, and just kind of start that dialogue with them. I mean, not don't like just push like products, right? Like don't get an email and someone wants to be notified with a newsletter and just start throwing like sales at them. Yeah.
And I think you're also touching on, some of the ways to optimize the back in stock marketing side of this as well, is to just bear in mind that this is something I don't think this is the kind of thing that comes up routinely too often, but maybe you have some data more from the user side to support or refute that, where if something goes out of stock, I guess it changes from a niche to niche basis. So I think some niches, it might be a seasonal thing where they run out of stock and they kind of know when it's going to happen. And so it's actually more of like a routine flow. Whereas I think in other places, there might be like a freak occurrence, a truck tips over or something like that, where actually it's out of stock. And now this is more of like an unusual circumstance. So those are two scenarios that I can think of, but are either of those complete nonsense, and B, are there other scenarios that have actually prompted the lack of stock?
Yeah, I mean, and I think high demand or unexpected demand, especially with like COVID, where everyone jumped online and just started shopping online, and it's kind of hard to tell what demand's going to be for certain things at any given time. Where like face masks became a thing that was just you can find anywhere, and that was everyone started selling them, and then they were instantaneously almost out of stock. Yeah, I just thinking of that just kind of made me think about something else where it's kind of like if you're going to go out of stock on certain things, like if you're really truly trying to build a relationship with customers, it's like restocking is a very important thing, or like notifying them that you're back in stock is a way to kind of let them know that your business is kind of legit. Like you have a lot of stores that pop up and just sell something, they sell out, they never reply to you again, or like things are like always out of stock, right?
Right.
If you're really trying to, and some stores do that where they just kind of like, because it was, especially during the pandemic, it's very easy to like just pop up a store, sell $10,000 worth of like items and like and never reply to customers. But if you want customers to keep coming back, it's like you build that relationship. I think part of that communication funnel can start through the back and stock notifications.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've encountered that as well. Early on, I was like briefly addicted to just ordering as multiple things online, where I would get things delivered every day. And I still remember one of the early orders. It was it's been a while since I brought this up on the show, but my longtime audience knows what's coming. It's it was called like a hands-free bracket. You stick this and put the phone on it, and they can move it around, swivel it, and it never came. And I checked the delivery, and it said it was delivered to somebody in Quebec, and I had to get Visa on their case. Thankfully, I was refunded. So there is always going to be that, I think, that degree of skepticism of whether or not this business I'm about to support for the first time is legit. 9 times out of 10, everything works out just fine, but there, people still end up losing valuable time trying to solve this problem just to get their money back. Right. There was another one I remember. They called themselves like a magic pen. It's like it was an overhyped stylus. And I had this very specific product called the Desk Lab, which is a touch monitor. I'm like, does this pen work on this monitor? And they said, yes. I'm like, all right, I'll order it. so I get it. Naturally, it doesn't work. And so I said, guys, it didn't work. They responded. They said, okay, you send it back to this address and pay shipping. I'm like, pay shipping? you lied to me. You told me this thing would work. Now I got to pay shipping for this. I'm actually out of money. And I had to go all the way to my pharmacy / post office to do this. So yeah, there's a lot of there's so many opportunities to make a good connection with your customer. And I think one of the key takeaways today is even just letting people know when their products are ready to be sold again is a fantastic one at that. And if a business isn't taking advantage of these opportunities, then it just goes to show that this is just not as trustworthy as a business that's looking for opportunity to communicate wherever, whenever possible.
Right. It's kind of like going towards like, doing what you say you're going to do, right? It's like, you tell me that you're, if you're doing this yourself and I'm a customer and you're saying you promise that you're going to notify me when this is back in stock, and then you're going down this list of people that you somehow collected through a spreadsheet and you've forgotten to notify me, I'm never trusting you again, right? I'm just like, I go back and I see that it's in stock and it's like, well, now I'm not going to buy it from you because, and maybe this is me because I don't know if it's like I feel like maybe it's not legit or I feel like somewhat offended that you didn't actually do what you said you're going to do. I just won't. I just wouldn't buy, right?
Yeah, like just getting briefly back into like the gaming thing for a second. Like I've been a Nintendo fan almost my whole life, save for my early Sega days, and Nintendo's rubbed me the wrong way a couple of times. You're talking about like artificial scarcity. Reminds me very much of the amiibo situation there. Lord knows Palutena should not have been that hard to get, and and it's performance issues. So there are times where business falters, and that's fine. But you've built up the trust beforehand, so these customers will understand that, hey, look, nothing's perfect, but send me the amiibo already.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, so I want to make sure that I just in case there's any specific alignment or I guess configuration for dropshippers. Is there anything in specific that a dropshipper might want to do just to have a clear line of communication between their suppliers and then getting their suppliers' information to me and then getting that information to the customer? Because I tend to I've been framing this conversation from the perspective of somebody who's very closely attached or within the proximity of their product, which I don't normally do, by the way. Normally I start from the dropshipping perspective, but all of that said, do dropshippers have anything particular they need to worry about?
I would say there's a location setting. So if you've got multiple vendors that's sending out your product, right? So you've got inventory coming from multiple places. Setting that up in the application at the beginning will save you a lot of headache because there's some people that will have that as they'll only add like one location, and then it'll say that they'll say, well, my inventory is in stock, right? And it's like, well, you've only set up one location. We're reading out of stock for your inventory, so it's you start collecting notifications. Yeah, I think that's probably the biggest thing for drop shippers. If you just have multiple places where your inventory is stored, then having that set up through to those locations.
I just remembered something from when I was a grocery boy. And anybody who's, I guess, worked as a grocery person or is even shopped at a grocery store, they might know what I'm about to say. And the reason why I'm asking this is I'm just wondering if there's like any instances you've seen firsthand that are similar to this. So, person's working in grocery, I'm doing my thing. Customer comes up, wants to know, do we have any unsalted butter? I say no. He says, well, can you do me a favor? Can you go check the back for me real quick just to see if we hadn't put the stock out? Because it's our VIP program where we hold product deliberately just for people to ask. Now, in grocery, that's inefficient, but I'm wondering if anything like that has come up where somebody actually does hold some stock just in the back just to see if they're getting like heightened engagement from the customer.
I'm sure that there are some businesses that are doing that, right? Like I think that it might be a decent strategy to like I would say this for in a pre-order scenario, right? If you want to do something like that, almost like a pre-order, like you could use this in a way where you're just collecting almost signups to be notified. At least then you'll be able to, if you want to see how much you can get in the first, in a week, how many times you can get in a week, at least you'll be able to get about 40 to 50% of these people are going to convert. It's a decent setup to get like a pre-order scenario if you don't want to actually invest in getting the actual inventory, right? I think that's probably one of the best scenarios there. I'm kind of holding it artificially. I mean, in the scenario, I guess you wouldn't be holding it anyway, right? But yeah, I think that's probably a pre-order scenario, or a somewhat of a pre-order scenario, or artificially out of stock scenario would be something that you could do.
Now, you mentioned, you don't get so much of the user data because user data goes to the seller. But I am wondering how much of the seller data you guys might collect. Because usually what I ask in these formatted episodes is if any insights have been unearthed from any aggregated data that's collected, because you're working with multiple sellers, obviously. So to add a little bit of specificity to it, I'm wondering if you've noticed any patterns based on what niches people are working on, or if there's any case studies that stick out. So you take all of those together and let me know if there's anything interesting that's come up.
Yeah. So in the way we've kind of set this up, we've gone the route of like collecting as little data as possible, and so much so that we don't collect the there's kind of like a pop-up that's on the front of the on the theme that pops up that allows people to sign up, and we don't even collect the data when that pops up in the front of the store. At least right now we don't, and so we don't really we're not really able to draw a lot of conclusions in terms of what types of products you're selling, or I mean we can generally kind of see that the percentage of verticals we have in terms of like fashion versus consumables and things like that. But in terms of what people are selling specifically, getting down to that product level, yeah, we don't collect enough data on what your products are to do that. So yeah, it'd be nice. It'd be a really nice thing to have. But I think there's like you kind of get into the world of like GDPR concerns and privacy and stuff like that, and we try to err on the side of caution at all times. I think it's more of a trust thing with our merchants, where it's we only want to collect what we need to like drive your business. So like a lot of the data that we have is around we can look into from when people restock, and how many notifications they have, that kind of thing. And we can start drawing trends from that on like how quickly you restock. If you restock at a certain time, you're more likely you're X percentage to get to you can get probably this percentage of those customers that signed up to convert.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I mean, in fairness, the origin of the question was based around more of like a client a relationship where people are. It's almost in their best interest to provide as much data to the service as possible. So you have accounting and consulting, stuff like that. So, but nonetheless, to me, it's too good of a question not to ask, because you never know. There might be something, a big picture that manifests from it. So what I did was also, I mean, I'm going to the website just to see like my familiarity in the e-commerce space. I put myself in like a 102 class. I feel like I've gotten out of 101 and I'm in 102. So most of it was able to register based on my prior knowledge, but there was one term that didn't connect with me, and I wanted to ask you about that. The shoelace retargeting integration. I'm not really familiar with this. Is this specific to backinstock? Is this part of a larger term, the use of shoelace retargeting? Or I'm just really curious about this one.
yeah, so shoelace retargeting shoelace is its own app. It doesn't really have much to do with us. So it's they offer retargeting, and it's an integration with that system. So you can kind of set that up to automatically retarget customers. But this is, again, I think you on that pop-up form that I talked about in the beginning, customers that are asking for additional marketing essentially will be good. This is where you can start that relationship, right? Where you can start to, I think Shoelace offers some software that allow you to automatically kind of like automate some sales campaigns around some of your other products. And you can start doing it there, right? And so instead of sending it all to MailChimp and you're just like blasting off an email to like one group of customers, it's like you can start a campaign in this other app, and that'll kind of like automate some of your sales processes and retarget them with some other products potentially.
Okay. So yeah, that's just one thing that stuck out to me. So I usually make sure that just in case there's like a stone that I forgot to unturn, I always want to throw it to you just in case there's anything else regarding the service that you want to just let us know about. So it's an open-ended question, but did we cover everything, or are there any other elements to this that you wanted to let us know about?
You did. There's stuff that I would like to let you know about, but it's coming soon. So I,
Okay. Mhm. Well,
yeah,
there's a bit of a
there's
there's a bit of time between this recording and the release. If you can predict anything within maybe like a month.
oh yeah, cool. Yeah, so the couple things that we're going to be doing is we're going to be adding a campaigns feature where you can start to send out not just one notification, but you can kind of some essentially some retargeting, right? Where you can start to send out additional emails to customers if they don't convert. So to try and entice them to come back. And if you want to throw a discount in there on like the second try or third try or fourth try, probably be some best practices. Something we're going to probably learn and get some statistics around once we launch this. Like at what stage in the process should you like throw in a discount to try and entice somebody to buy, like maybe on the third try or something like that. So that's one of the big things that we've got coming. And then try to say the next month or so. Yeah, we've got, we're probably going to offer. We've got a we call it a price drop alert that's probably coming out. So we're going to kind of step in to some of that sales space and not just back in stock. Still back in stock. Still be offering that also, but allowing you to yeah, kind of allow people to sign up to get notified when price drops when a price drops on a product, which is I guess we can talk about that a whole as a whole nother section and a whole nother time, but um, it's very similar to like how a price alert works on a flight. I guess it would be the best way I can put that.
Well, yeah, I mean, when we get to talking about price drops, we're definitely going to want to talk about the psychology there and how that relates to buying video game consoles. Because, oh man, do I get irritated when I find out something I bought for a
Yeah,
higher
I'm like,
price. It's like the time price ratio, like being a part of the conversation earlier, being part of the hype earlier. Is that really worth it? And then you find out, these days games the servers take them offline, and there's fear of missing out. It's been a long time since the Nintendo 64 where you just play. So
the classics, man.
yeah. All right, cool. So I still have you for a little bit of time. So I want us to I guess zoom out because you had mentioned that this is just one a part of your portfolio. So what is the okay? So this is a two-part question. Question one is what's the array that you're managing, and two, and here this is one that I think is really interesting is by working on these multiple products and services, or however you feel is the best way to characterize them, I feel like you would get different insights because you're dipping into multiple functions that ideally would then allow you to take those insights and apply them to others. So there might be an ecosystem there, a relationship there. So I'm curious to hear about that part too, if what I've said has any verifiable truth to it.
Yeah, to some degree. There's when you so we've got an app called Cross-Sell that does cross sells and upsells, and it ought to also, well, when this comes out, it'll do some automated bundles and quantity discounts management as well. And that you get different. It's a different app, and it's a lot more theme dependent because you're injecting something into the product page and cart page that allows to drive sales. So it's kind of like advertising inside of your store for you, and that brings a whole different set of problems for customers. And but the thing is, you start to see. We also have an SEO app on Plugin SEO that gives you an SEO report. We do a lot of on-page SEO and offer some services there. And we're going to be launching a product description service pretty soon to help you write better product descriptions because it's how you convert, right? But you start to see these common links between the apps where customers are having problems, and there's this opportunity to maybe this app will help you with this problem. But I think I mean everyone wants to figure out how to sell more, but you get different customers in these apps, right? Like for instance, with the SEO apps, we typically get a lot of customers that are newer to Shopify, right? And there's I need to get more business, which makes sense, right? And I need to figure out how to sell more. Back in stock, we typically get a lot of people that are selling, obviously, and they've kind of run out of product. But there are these common problems that kind of go along the lines in terms of like, you know, it's either you've kind of like you're at the beginning and um, you're at the beginning. People typically, I guess, people solve the problems when they have them, but sometimes I almost just want to say, take this entire suite of apps, and like by the time you get to here and having this problem, like you will be happy that you've had all of this because having I think SEO is kind of forever. Like everyone needs to do it, even if you're already selling. You can probably optimize and even get even more sales. Um, and if you're getting a lot of sales, you're probably not even thinking about cross selling and upselling, which is kind of a strange thing to me because we just see that the conversion rates and the average order value go up so much more. So yeah, I almost want to be like, just grab this suite of apps and just like here. I wish Shopify would allow you to package and install just like as one and allow you to just download it. But it's like you kind of have to sell each one to customers, and it's being in this space where we are running all these businesses, but they're all kind of like separate. Customers also don't want to be like pitched on things they don't really need right now. But I really would love to just say, hey, there's this, and this. Grab it while you're grabbing this. Just grab all these, and here's why. So that's the insight that I see when I look at this. Because it's like you're solving a problem when you have it, but you don't even it's not top of mind because you're not.
Right.
It's not the most immediate problem, I guess.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're speaking as a seller myself, and I say that very charitably because I haven't sold anything yet. But as you're describing these, the one that pops out to me, just based on my own problems, is really SEO, because this philosophy that I guess I'm building is the difference between your affinities and your proficiencies. I think affinity is what they take to naturally. So like affiliate marketing, for instance, I'm in love with that as a concept. And so there's an underlying passion there. It makes it easier for me to be motivated to follow that. And that might affect what, if any, like what service I might get to based off my affinity for it. Whereas SEO, I'm a drooling toilet paper user. Like I'm not very good at it whatsoever. So an app, if I'm understanding correctly, it looks at the pages and it recommends and it guides how to improve SEO for better ranking. To me, that's a no-brainer because I need that proficiency. You have to have proficiency in everything, because that just means not being incompetent and not having like a hole at the bottom of your boat.
Right. Yeah, and that's it's one of those things, especially that app. I feel like if you're not really familiar with SEO, grab an SEO app, right? It's plug-in SEO. Just I guess plug. But
is that what it's called? Plug-in SEO.
Yeah, okay. Plug-in SEO.
I'm writing it down. I'm going to get it.
It's one of those things where if you don't know anything about SEO and you don't know anything about like on-page SEO or off-page SEO or whatever, like you'll probably get some education just by having the app where you're just kind of like, what is that thing that's flagged as, I don't have it. Like, why does an alt tag matter for an image, right? Like, why does Google care about any of these things? Like it's, but you quickly find out that all of it matters. And just like the small tweaks you can make to just rank a little bit higher for certain keywords or set your page up for success is just kind of, to me, a no-brainer when it comes to some of this stuff. But like if you're not selling anything, you look at that and you're like, this is my immediate problem. I need to do this now, right?
Yeah.
Makes sense. But to me, if you're already selling, this is also a problem because it's like you could be selling more, right? Based on this stuff.
All right. So I've got you for just for a couple more minutes. I guess one thing that I've also been wondering about too is some of your backstory. I try to be somewhat distinct in that I try to keep the backstory stuff till the end of the episode. Not always. Some depends on like for some people their backstory is like the reason why they got into e-commerce. So you got to ask them first. So blah blah blah. So what were you up to prior to e-commerce, and if any of your prior skill sets had they come with you and managed to help you out in this new space that you're in.
Yeah, I've man, when I was like not in e-commerce, I was trying to think. Yeah, so I kind of it's a funny thing because I think I've always been in like software's kind of been a thing that I've been in love with for a while. Like I started out, like coming out of college with a marketing and finance degree. I was like I was what would you call it? I mean, for all intents and purposes, I was selling securities, like a financial advisor, or like basically selling insurance, like trying to sell life insurance to the financial people. And then I worked at a startup in undergrad, and I decided to go back into tech, and that startup was like Web 1.0, like making web pages, and we were like basically selling. The whole purpose of building out these websites that we were building was to like sell affiliate marketing, or push our affiliate marketing partners. And I kind of went back I started working at Bank of America for a while and working in their technology department in like a leadership development rotational program. And, it was like, you get a job at a huge company and it's like everything's super slow. And for the first year, and it was absolutely boring. But then I think the world fell apart during a financial crisis, and they bought Merrill Lynch, and I was responsible for like testing all the applications across running this program of like testing out all the applications and all the integrations. And it was like the hardest thing I ever did in my life, and managing this huge program. But it kind of showed me the capacity that I could have in terms of like how much I could work, because I was like working 50 to 60 hours just um, flying back and forth to California in different places, just like thousands of projects at the same time. It was crazy. Coming out of that, it was like I really jumped into trying to build my own startup, and the first thing I went towards was e-commerce because I saw penny auctions, and I was like, "Hey, I want to do this, right?" And I hired some developers and built that out, and I've always wanted to like create be a part of the market and be a part of the system in e-commerce, not necessarily sell a product myself, I guess. And then that business quickly fell apart because penny auctions were super risky and banks did not really enjoy backing them at all. So it became a product manager at Motorola, selling in their e-commerce department, doing that, and then that just kind of led me down. I've always been kind of creating my own apps on the side, and then uh, yeah, long story short, that led me to Source Capital, where I think I kind of gravitated naturally towards the e-commerce space for those products. It just made sense to me. I love being a part of the system of e-commerce more so than like selling a product.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that I find interesting, I've been in the space for a year, and I'm happy to be here. And the thing that I notice is that I'm trying to think of like a nice way of saying black hole or sinkhole or something like that. But e-commerce, it's an extension of commerce. You combine the internet and you combine commerce, and you get these two things. You have economics, and everything is making its way towards e-commerce to the point where I am predicting, and I think there's plenty of data to back this up, that all commerce in some way will have an online component. I I, I know there's pockets here or there where maybe they transact completely offline, and maybe there's a few businesses where they have the old school credit card machines where you go. But I think for the part of it is expanding on the definition of e-commerce. I was just talking with somebody else on a different show. He says e-commerce, and he immediately thinks like Shopify stores. And I said, well, I mean, Uber. You order an Uber online, and the car comes to pick you up in person. So does that count as e-commerce? In my opinion, it does, in the same way that like ordering a product online will eventuate into a product arriving in real life. So that's just my observation so far, being in it for roughly a year so far.
I think when the big thing for me was when Amazon bought Whole Foods, and you can order your groceries online, right? And I know that there are some places where you can do that before, but it became this thing where it's just, if you are an Amazon member and you can do that and get your points and all that stuff, it just kind of feels very much like buying anything else on Amazon, which is like a strange paradigm to have. And that to me is like, well, now your food is. I mean, there's all of these like subscription boxes and things like that, which is also e-commerce. I think like there's it's harder for me to find something that's not e-commerce, except for dealing with like government agencies and things like that. Because for the most part, you can't pay for anything online. I guess you can pay for bills and stuff, but like not like the things that matter. Like, right, typically those are going to be like paper, or you submit a form and then you have to go pay somebody. But yeah, it's harder for me to find something that's not e-commerce at this point than
Yeah.
than to try to narrowly define that space.
Yeah, and again, I'm just I'm fascinated to see, you know, where it goes from here. And it just reminded me, a brief story, but like somebody had ordered some. We did try ordering groceries online. Because I can't really leave the house or leave the apartment, I elected to go to my grocery store in person. It's like the one thing I do to like get out of the house on a week to week basis. So yeah, that's just me personally. But I still remember, you know, he's dropping out the groceries, and it's winter time, and he didn't slip. But my God, was I worried he was going to slip? Just like, you know, here's here's your tomatoes, and just so I think some of that is like just concern for other people's well being and how much I'm willing to inconvenience somebody else for my convenience. I mean, yeah, they're being paid for it, but you know, there's only so much money that you can make handing other people their tomatoes. So, you know, there's still a long way to go. But again, it's an exciting time to see how fast these things are changing.
Yeah, you know, another big one was when I mean, I don't buy any games. I buy all my games through like the network now, and I don't like go buy an actual physical game like a disc or anything. Like everything is now digital in terms of like buying games, and that to me was like I remember having a conversation with my brother, and he was like, yeah, I'm always going to buy my games on, you know, buy the cartridge, or buy not the cartridge, but like the disc, because you can like resell. And I'm like, yeah, but I was like for the ability to have it instantaneously on the day it drops, right? Or even like the discounts you get when you buy it through like now like a, you know, PlayStation Place, the store, or you know, Xbox's game store. Like you get like deep discounts for, you know, if you're buying it later and you're buying it digital. It's just like it's almost like everything. I don't know. Everything is become e-commerce. And the day we move away from systems will be a huge shift, right? When a lot of the, I'd say where hardware becomes standardized. I don't guess this is future tech stuff, but like we have household devices that are powerful enough to like power your games, and I can like cast my game onto my TV without like having to truly buy a system, right? That's going to be an interesting place to be.
Well, okay. Well, this is the last thought that I'm going to make, and then I'm going to I'll let you on out of here. Which is, I mean, most of the games that I buy are digital. Every now and then, I'll get a physical copy, just because being a collector and having all of the stuff on display is a form of self expression. So I do like having some things physical. But if you're looking into NFTs, which allows us to take digital assets and actually personalize them, then eventually people will be able to actually take their digital collections and have them on display in like a virtual reality environment. So I'm kind of excited to see about that, even if virtual reality does scare the daylights out of me. But it'll be interesting to see when it comes full circle, because the things that are true about human nature will remain true. We just have to figure out ways to get back to that. And I think having a collection, having something on display, people love that. And that'll go away for a little while, but it will come back. That's why I think NFTs are going to be big.
Yeah, I completely agree. There's a company that's out there that created their own blockchain to basically trade game assets. And it was like I think they stopped, they're out of business now, but it was a nice concept because you can, you know, I think they started there, and they started with like designed shoes online and other stuff. Like people were designing shoes from like the Nike shoe store, customizer, and then like saving that. And then they were allowing you to like trade these things back and forth, but you can like keep these NFTs and display them, or, you know, trade them around. It's pretty cool. So yeah, I think it's going to be huge because that collectibles are huge. Now it's kind of like, as I'm older, I don't like having like a bunch of stuff like just cluttered. Like I try to like minimal become a minimalist, but I still want to have my especially for games where I earn badges and stuff like that. I can showcase that beyond just like the Xbox system, or where I play in two different environments.
I didn't even think about that. The achievements and trophies and stuff like that, for them to actually someday manifest as trophies. That's exciting. All right, we're gonna we're gonna wrap it up here. if there's anything else that if there's anything like, I don't know, like, I usually ask people if they have like I don't know, like a Chinese proverb or like a bit of wisdom or advice that really sticks with you. You're free to share it, and then let the audience know how they can seek you out and learn more about what you're up to.
What would be my? There's like one thing that comes to mind. This is funny. There's one thing that comes to mind. I recently rewatched The Wire.
Oh, yeah, okay. I've watched the first season of it. It is an amazing show.
And the one thing that always comes to mind is, is the game is the game always, and that's it's just kind of like it's a in my mind I think of that as things evolve, but there's the game that you're playing, and to me it's like, I guess the game that we're playing is like, do you really enjoy your life type of thing. That never really changes, right? The circumstances change, things change, technology changes, but there's always going to be people selling, people buying. Like the game is the game always. Like that will always be a thing.
Awesome. Yeah, that's a pretty good one. I didn't see it. I didn't see it coming. I didn't know if it was going to come from The Wire or like a Chinese proverb. But yeah, that sticks out. And like, I don't know. I think about that and I think like, do I enjoy my life? I don't enjoy every second of it, but I think I prefer that anyways. I think life is better served as a mixture of different experiences and emotional states. So that's my response to what I might take away from what you had offered. And then how do people find your work online and find these products and get a hold of them?
Yeah, so you can, if you go to the Shopify App Store, you can see search for Back in Stock. We'll be probably ranked number one. You can look for Source of Capital inside of the Shopify App Store, and you'll see our suite of apps also. So plug and useful, cross sell, Back in Stock, all in the Shopify App Store. Just click install, and pretty easy to set up.
Okay, fantastic. Well, to our audience, one way or another, we're all going to be encountering this. So it's wise to get ahead of it, unless you happen to have an infinite supply of your products. So congratulations, you've cracked quantum computing. But for everybody else, you're definitely going to have a look. I know I am. And with that, take care, and which I consume.
I wanted clothes that made people feel.
Hey, this is Joseph from Ecomonics. Just wanted to thank you for being here and for giving this content your time and attention. I hope you learned something. I can say with certainty, I have learned something with every episode that I have done, and I don't see that changing anytime soon. There's a couple things you can do to help us out. If you want to check out the audio content, we are available on all major podcast platform distributors. And while you're there, give us a 5-star review. It helps a lot. And while you're here on YouTube, there's a lot of things you can do to help out as well. It's not going to take very long. Subscribe to the channel, hit the like button for this episode, and hit the notification bell so when we have new content for you, it's going to be at your doorstep ASAP. Lastly, this podcast is created by Debutify, the best Shopify template available. It is 100% free for you to start, and it can change your life. It can make you so much more free than you are right now. So if this episode wasn't enough to convince you, I think a few more might do the trick. So have at it.